Welcome back to our deep dive. Today, we're getting into some really unconventional ideas, stuff that definitely challenges how you might normally think. We're aiming to give you a clear shortcut to understanding these perspectives. Our focus, well, it's on human unification, and specifically, an organization making some pretty extraordinary claims about partnering with extraterrestrial intelligence. Yeah, so the material we're drawing from today is a live stream. It featured Rafael Hungria and Otavio Reis. They're key people in this group called Decula Research. And our job here is really to unpack their vision. It's ambitious. They want to integrate all sorts of different ways of thinking. Plus, we need to understand these unique partnerships they talk about and their plan, their sort of multi-step plan for humanity's future. So, yeah, get ready. There are some surprising claims and honestly some profound ideas in here. Okay, let's kick off with the core concept from Rafael Hungria's channel, unification. What's this actually about? He frames it as like integrating all discoveries into one single line of thought, embracing different philosophies, different groups, even religions, without just rejecting them. The idea is finding the real truth, the essence behind each one. But I mean, how do you even start doing that? It sounds incredibly complex, right? Reconciling all that history and conflict.
It absolutely is complex. And Otavio Reis really emphasizes that. This unification work, as he describes it, it's not just about finding some easy middle ground. No, it's presented as a really demanding task. It takes deep study, a lot of sensitivity. The aim is to bring people who think in vastly different ways towards, well, a common language, a shared path for development. What's fascinating, I think, is this core idea they put forward, that every single vision, no matter how different, can evolve because, and this is their quote, truth is infinite. So developing knowledge can actually lead to totally new perceptions. It might even impact, they suggest, realities and dimensions. And it all starts with just being open, having respect for what others believe. They see this work as literally bringing back the torch of knowledge, trying to piece together understanding that's been fragmented, maybe distorted over time.
Right. So the core proposition is if you change how you fundamentally see the world and yourself, you can actually transform your own reality. It's a powerful idea about maybe breaking free from limits we put on ourselves. Okay, so let's talk about Decula Research itself. Its mission, they say, is unveiling knowledge. Rafael Hungria mentions he's been a member for about 10 years, and here's where it gets, well, really interesting. Their most striking claim. Decula Research, they state, is built on a direct partnership with beings they call dimensional friends, specifically 49 different extraterrestrial races.
Yeah, and dimensional friends is key there. According to them, these aren't just ETs in spaceships, like in the movies. They're described as beings operating from, well, different dimensions of reality, beings who can influence and guide human evolution. They say these beings have visited Earth before, historically, to give support, knowledge, kind of awaken human consciousness. And their return now, according to the source, establishes this formal alliance, who was initiated, they say, about Yurandir Fernandez de Oliveira, who's central to their work. Now, their stated purpose is important. It's explicitly not some big, flashy Hollywood-style reveal. They don't want to cause chaos. Instead, the idea is to respect where humanity is at, evolutionarily speaking, while still providing guidance, training, support, but to a selected group, that group being Decula. And this group is apparently building a base, maybe even a city, in Corguinho, Brazil. The whole point is to create this legacy knowledge, technology, wisdom for future generations, the ultimate aim, ushering in what they call a new generation of superhumans. And this whole effort, you have to understand the context they provide. They assert that our true history, humanity's real knowledge, has been deliberately hidden by, quote, other races who set up a system, or a matrix, you could say, to control us. And this system, it's not just a metaphor for them. They see it as a real, pervasive thing that's actively suppressed our potential and history, basically controlling our reality from behind the curtain. So Decula's work, in their view, is like Prometheus bringing the fire of the gods back to Earth. It's meant to directly challenge this established control system.
Wow. Okay, that's a massive claim about history and reality. So this grand vision, supposedly guided by these partners, how does it actually translate into, practical steps? Things happening on the ground. They mention a plan of action. And they're very clear. They say it's not based on human ideas or will. It apparently originated over 20 years ago through that partnership. And within Decula, you have all these different research groups, right? Health, nutrition, developing extrasensory perception, even archaeology, like that Convex Earth documentary they made. How does that all fit together?
Well, that focus on things like the convex Earth idea, which, for anyone listening who hasn't heard of it, is a pretty niche theory suggesting the Earth's surface curves outwards, challenging the standard sphere model that really highlights their bigger goal. It underscores their commitment to, as they see it, reclaiming knowledge that's been hidden or distorted, exposing flaws in our standard understanding of reality. So all these diverse research groups, they all serve that larger objective, preparing humanity physically, mentally, intellectually for a future they believe will be free from this external manipulation and historical deceit. And a big part of that preparation is what they call social leveling work. That's the Portuguese phrase, trabalho de nivelamento social. It's basically their response to what they see coming, a global collapse, financial, political, governmental, even religious systems failing. And the core of this social leveling, it's not just about predicting collapse, it's about building an alternative. They're launching their own digital currency. It's called the Golden Merchandise Bonus, or BDM. And they claim it's already circulating.
But crucially, it's not just another crypto scheme. It's designed as a parallel option to the current financial system. The whole aim is to offer, well, dignity, freedom, prosperity outside of the old structures. Nuclear research claims that, global powers intend to bring in digital currencies for more control. They even mention microchips. BDM is positioned as a direct counter-movement to that. And they say their dimensional friends insisted on this approach, prioritizing basic human needs first. The quote is something like, people need to fill their
bellies, first bring dignity. This contrasts sharply, they argue, with the alleged goal of the manipulators, which is to keep humanity stuck in a basic, instinctive
Right. So if we connect that back to you, the listener, what does this mean in their framework? It seems this initiative is presented as a tool, a way to empower individuals by sorting out those fundamental needs first: food, shelter, basic security, which then theoretically frees people up to focus on higher things, knowledge, personal growth, self-actualization, but they're aiming to do it on a societal scale, not just individually. Okay, so tying this all together, the big message from that live stream seems to be, don't just sit back and wait. The world isn't going to magically transform into some paradise overnight. It's a process, and it needs individual action. They definitely acknowledge that people often feel powerless, right, against these huge systems, government, societal pressures, all of it. Given the scale of everything they're talking about, history, ET alliances, global collapse, what do they actually expect individuals to do?
And to tell you what really hammers this point home, individual empowerment is key. Their core belief, Dakila's belief, is that every single person has this divine spark inside them. We all have the inherent potential to co-create our own reality. So the call to action is basically become stronger, become more balanced, and learn to critically look at things, to spot the inconsistencies in the mainstream story that maybe most people overlook. It also involves actively spreading constructive information stuff that genuinely helps people with health, financial
stability, dignity, self-esteem. It's about taking action now, especially for the people they specifically call dimensionals. These are the individuals, in their view, who are already waking up, who are actively
That really does put the focus squarely on individual initiative, doesn't it? Not just hoping, not just praying, but actually doing something. This whole deep dive really highlights their conviction that shifts in attitude, and more importantly, in action, both individual and collective, can make a profound difference in facing future challenges and maybe open up totally new paths. So just to recap what we've covered here, we've looked at the really ambitious scope of Dakila research, from their core vision of unifying all these diverse belief systems to addressing what they claim is humanity's hidden history, establishing this alternative economic model, the BDM, and trying to awaken individual potential. All of this, allegedly, guided and supported by this unique partnership with 49 extraterrestrial races.
Exactly. And as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe here's something provocative for you to think about on your own. The source material, the live stream, makes a really striking claim about their currency, the BDM, the Golden Merchandise Bonus. They say it has a true backing. That's the phrase lastro verdadeiro in Portuguese. And they specifically contrast this with other major currencies, the dollar, the euro, the real, even Bitcoin, implying those don't have a true backing. So the question to mull over is, what could this true backing possibly be? And what would the implications be for the whole global financial system if a currency actually possessed some kind of undeniable foundational value like that? It really invites you to think about the nature of currency itself, what value really means, and who controls it in our world.